In open source software development, community members use issue tracking systems to discuss various topics related to their projects. Although issues play a crucial role in software development, issue discussions can get heated or uncivil, resulting in unnecessarily disrespectful conversations and personal attacks. To help open source projects deal with such heated discussions, GitHub has a feature that allows project owners to log issue discussions. The main goal of this feature is to smooth out too heated conversations that violate the community's code of conduct or GitHub's community guidelines. Conversations can be logged for many reasons, such as off-topic, resolved, spam, or too heated. Here we have an example of an issue that got logged as too heated by the owner of the project after having received several uncivil comments. As you can see here, an issue discussion is composed of many attributes, such as comments that can be submitted by different participants, and people can express their feelings towards each comment using emojis. Such attributes might differ between logged and non-logged issues. In this paper, we aim to understand how open source projects use the GitHub logged issues feature in general and as a way to handle uncivil conversations. More specifically, we first aim to analyze the characteristics of logged issues and if logged issues have more comments, participants, and emoji reactions than non-logged issues. Then, we identify the justifications given by maintainers in the issue comments when logging issues as too heated, and investigate the extent to which issues logged as too heated are actually uncivil. To answer those questions, we conducted a mixed method approach. First, we selected 79 projects from GitHub collections and large software companies. Then, we collected all closed issues and their attributes from the 79 projects, resulting in more than 1 million closed issues. We did a quantitative analysis on all closed issues to understand the nature of GitHub logged issues. For that, we conducted a statistical analysis to see if logged issues have more comments, participants, and emoji reactions than non-logged issues, as we hypothesized. Then, to assess the extent to which issues logged as too heated are actually uncivil, we coded all issues logged as too heated and their comments, a total of 205 issues logged as too heated and more than 5,500 comments. In our coding, we first identified the justifications given by maintainers to log issues as too heated, and we identified the tone-bearing discussion features as a proxy to detect uncivil discourse. These tone-bearing discussion features are proposed in our previous work to capture conversation characteristics in software engineering discussions, particularly uncivil characteristics such as bitter frustration, impatience, and vulgarity. In our first question that asks, what are the characteristics of GitHub logged issues, we found that 61% of logged issues have been automatically logged by bots due to inactivity, for example. Also, we found that logged issues tend to have a similar number of comments, participants, and emoji reactions than non-logged issues. Now that we know the overall characteristics of logged issues, let's dive deep in the issues logged as too heated. Through our manual analysis, we found 10 categories of justifications given by maintainers, and in 70 issues, no justification was given. As expected, 52 issues were logged due to unhealthy interactions, such as the conversation was violating the code of conduct, and surprisingly, although the issues are logged as too heated, 23 of them were justified by the maintainers as being off-topic, and the remaining issues were logged for a variety of reasons, such as the issue will not be addressed, it's the wrong communication channel, work prioritization, and the bug will be addressed in the future. What's interesting here is that the justification to log around 75% of the issues as too heated were not related to the conversation being uncivil at all. We then analyzed the extent to which issues logged as too heated are actually uncivil. Contrary to expectations, we found that around 33% of issues logged as too heated are not uncivil at all, and only 8.82% of comments in issues logged as too heated are uncivil. Also, we found that uncivil comments emerge from the discussion in around 64% of the issues, instead of starting the conversation with uncivil comments, for example. And finally, we found that in 60% of the issues in which maintainers did not mention a justification for locking them are actually uncivil. Overall, our results show that using the GitHub logged issues data out of the box lead to 3 potential pitfalls, and we provide recommendations to mitigate these problems. So first, we found that 60% of the logged issues have been logged by a bot. So researchers should not use all logged issues assuming that the project is following the GitHub's guidelines, and instead, MSR researchers should use the GitHub Events API to verify if the issues have been logged by a bot. If so, the real reason why the issue is logged should be assessed manually. Also, according to our analysis of incivility, we found that around 33% of the issues logged as tolerated do not contain any uncivil comment. So MSR researchers should not assume that uncivil expressions would necessarily appear in issues logged as tolerated, because blindly using this data set to feed the machine learning model, for example, might lead to unreliable results. And to mitigate this problem, MSR researchers should manually inspect the data to identify heated or uncivil discussions or reuse existing benchmarks. Finally, we found that justifications given by maintainers do not always match the label they use. To mitigate this problem, researchers should scrutinize different factors when using this dataset, such as the discussion topic, the context of the discussion, and the presence or absence of uncivil interaction. To conclude, we found that blindly use the GitHub logged issues data can lead to unreliable results, and based on our results, we provide 3 pitfalls and recommendations for MSR researchers that use this data. So I invite you to read our paper for more details. There are a lot of more analysis and recommendations made in the paper that I could not cover in this presentation. Thank you so much for your attention.